busy day yesterday, and I knew I needed a good night's sleep, and I tried to make that happen. But usually between 3 and 4, I don't want to say the witching hours, you know, they don't have a claim on it. It's those of us that communicate with the so-called dead. They seem to, for some reason, gravitate towards my room around that time. It's almost like I could, you know, setting an alarm clock. So anyway, they woke me up because they knew I had to get busy. I had to do the music. I had to do my talk, prepare. I had to gather the second harvest produce together, which is in the back, as well as some very decadent homemade chocolate cake from one of the August birthdays. So please definitely go back there after the service and get a plate, and we'll give you some foil or whatever, and you're good to go. It's a wonderful, wonderful chocolate cake, birthday cake. So we have that too. But as I pondered at 4 a.m. what to speak about, as usual, I set my own thoughts aside and asked for guidance and direction from the higher side of life. I never know where this is going to go. I never know what subject they're going to speak on. But I trust, and it's none of my business, I just step out of the way and type. So I was told to speak of the Beatitudes. And I know most of us here, most of us, not all, come from some form of Christian background, whether it be Protestant, Catholic, whatever. You're here now. We've probably all heard of the Beatitudes at one time or another. Perhaps you studied them in a theology course, or perhaps you even had to memorize them and recite them in front of a classroom. Well, here's just a little background on them before we proceed. The Beatitudes were a series of blessings declared by Jesus Christ, another child of God, prophet, seer, healer, and medium. He did speak of these in his Sermon on the Mount, and they are found in the Gospels, one being Matthew, in the second book of the Bible. In contrast to the 10 Commandments given to Moses, Jesus gave the Beatitudes in a positive spirit, listing the values in life which will lead you to prosperity and salvation. Each of the Beatitudes brings blessings into your life. There were 8 Beatitudes, and I'm not going to list all of them here right now. That's not the intent or the purpose. The guidance and direction that Spirit has chosen today to enlighten you about concern just one beatitude with significant relevance to a lot of what's going on around you today in the world. The one they were concerned about is, "Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy." Mercy is the benevolent nature towards those who suffer. Love, empathy, and mercy towards a family member or a neighbor will bring peace in your relationships. A very pure simple thought, but sometimes so very hard to live by. Many of us, spiritualists, are considered empaths. I'm sure you've probably heard that term before. We do feel for one another. We do empathize at different times with our brothers and sisters here on the earth plane. And we try to love unconditionally as Spirit does, don't we? Do you place conditions on your love for others? If you do this or that, I'll love you. If you don't do this or that, as I prefer, maybe I won't love you. Maybe I can't love you. Can I? If I see behaviors in you that are repugnant or appalling to me, will I still love you? Should I still love you? Can I still love you? Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. It doesn't mean that you condone the behaviors of others or even take them on as your own. No. It simply means that we strive in our everyday lives to show mercy. Feed the hungry. Give drink to the thirsty. Clothe the naked. Shelter the homeless. Comfort the imprisoned. Visit the sick. These are the corporal works of mercy. I'm not trying to overcomplicate this. Like they say, it's not rocket scientist. Or I'd have Steve standing up here, and then you'd all be asleep. Let's be real. We all strive to do good deeds. We are taught by Spirit, infinite intelligence, God, or their representatives here on the earth plane, that we are here in service to others. Anyone can find a way to serve God by aiding our fellow brothers and sisters. But that unconditional love part, that's really hard. Sometimes within 5 or 10 minutes of leaving the church, when somebody cuts you off in traffic, or you see them do something like really dangerous or stupid in our opinion, it's not so easy to love unconditionally then. So let me tell you about something very personal, which not all of us are comfortable doing. Not all of us can stand up here and tell a secret. I have a secret. I'm sure you do too. One or two. Like they say, skeletons in the closet. Many of us have a lot of bones in our closet. That every once in a while we have to open the door and kind of dust them off and visit them again. And then it's our choice whether we close the door on the skeletons in the closet or let them out to deal with. So I have a secret, a very personally painful, long-term secret that I've been dealing with for about 18 years. Some of you that know me maybe know a little bit about my secret, but not the day-to-day, painful, horrible part. I have a daughter. I'm not gonna lie. That has pretty much brought me nothing but trouble for the past 18 years. I have a daughter that's a drug addict. I know some of you possibly have known people over the years that had fought addictions of various kinds. I've been living with this for a long time. Right now, as we speak, my daughter is in Parish Medical Center again, being detoxed from several horrible drugs: heroin, meth, crack. She's done them all repeatedly over the years. I have gotten treatment for her repeatedly over the years. I have supported her as much as I could over the years. It's almost like a roller coaster ride. There's ups and downs. It steadies out for a short period of time, and then you go up and down again. I can remember years ago when I became a member of this church, started participating in this church. I was hopeful. I said, well, now maybe I'll understand this. Maybe I'll get some kind of guidance or direction or insight that I can help. I can help her. But what I learned was a lesson I think a lot of us here have learned. It wasn't my path. She was on her own path. And nothing I could say or do over the years could change her path. That was her chart. That was her path. I was just living on the edge. As a mother, as a parent, or even as another fellow human being, to see someone undergo the horrific transformation, the before and after. When I brought my daughter last night to the treatment center, my daughter's 31 years old. She's been using drugs since she was in middle school. don't think my daughter weighed 85 pounds last night when I brought her there. It had taken me at least 3 weeks to talk her into going there. Because as much as you want to help somebody, you know and I know, it has to be their decision. Or they can just sign themselves out, freely walk away. Even if I Baker acted her, they could only hold her for so long. Just a couple days, and she'd be out. So I brought her there yesterday evening, and then I got a call about 2 hours later telling me that they were transporting her by ambulance to Parish Medical Center because she suffers from seizures because of all of this. And she needed to be in the hospital. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten that phone call. How many ambulance rides that girl has taken. And how after leaving treatment and detoxification, she got out and went right back to her friends, her so-called friends, and took it up all over again. You know, I've had people, everyone wants to give you their opinion. What did I do wrong? Oh, you spoiled her, you spoiled her. You always gave her everything she wanted. She always had the best. It's your fault. It's you and your husband's fault. Well, at first, you know, that used to upset me because I thought, what did I do wrong? Did I contribute to this? And then I learned from Spirit, it wasn't my fault. Stop blaming yourself, they told me. You loved her. You raised her like I raised my others, who are all exemplary products of my husband and I. So we didn't do anything wrong with her. We didn't do anything different. She just made different choices than the others. And nothing I could say or do was going to change her choice, her path. So I had to learn to distance myself, not blame myself, but help her as I could, a suffering human being, which I see her as. I realize she's my daughter. She's not perfect. Who is? None of us are perfect. So many of us have vices. Some people drink, some people smoke, some people overeat, some people have all kinds of addictions. Some are just worse than others. She has an extreme addiction that there have been so many times I expected a phone call. She's had Narcan administered to her. You know, there's nothing I can do about this other than try to get her help and be there for her emotionally. So when I asked Spirit this morning, what are we talking about here today? Right away, it was the Beatitudes. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. A pure and simple thought, but sometimes so hard to live by. Mercy is the benevolent nature towards those who suffer. Love, empathy, and mercy towards a family member or neighbor will bring peace in your life. You will be shown mercy from our God. So don't always be quick to blame yourself for something that at first, initially, you just assume is your fault, that you did something wrong. I've grown past that. But yet, unfortunately, I still deal with her issues. But I also see a suffering human being. And I do thank God that it wasn't my path. Some of us have been blessed, and some have not. So I ask that you take this message from Jesus, prophet, seer, medium, another child of God, as we are, who carries the divine spark within us, and show mercy and compassion on those that are not as fortunate as we. And that is our message from Spirit today. And I thank you for listening to that.